Hello and welcome to this week's coffee chat. We're back in the newsroom.
We are.
And we have our coffees.
I have a nice coffee here, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we haven't gone for matching colours this time, mainly because too many cups are being used at the moment. So there weren't the matching
There's
coffee.
a lot of cups being used and not enough washing up happening, so I'm afraid we've had to go for non-colour matching cups.
Yeah. Well, how are you doing?
I'm doing alright actually. I've mentioned to a few folks, I feel like I'm banging on about this, but I've started a thankfulness journal. That's really helping me in these times of lockdown. Just being thankful for small things.
What are you writing in there?
Anything and everything. This morning I wrote, I'm thankful for a sunrise. So anything, just chatting to a friend actually, and he was saying the simpler you can keep it, the better. So rather than trying to get all kind of structured about it and anything and anything I can write in there, I will write down. I'm thankful.
Do you know what I would
Coffee chat. I'm thankful for coffee
chat.
chat.
Do you know what I would have been thankful for this weekend? Snow, but we didn't get any.
We got no snow. In fact, I've had video sent to me of my grandson sledging, which I'm very jealous about. Yeah, lots of snow in Birmingham, but virtually nothing in Kent.
Well, I got almost attacked by my family because they got snow in Bath, and last time it snowed in Bournemouth, which was probably like 5 years ago, I lost the sledge.
Oh no.
So we had a little plastic sledge, which I lost, and now they weren't happy with me because they finally had snow again.
How did you lose a sledge?
So I think what I did is I went sledging and someone said, "Oh, can I borrow it?" And I was just like, "Yeah, go for it." And then once they go down the hill,
borrow/steal.
Yeah, exactly. And I was naive enough to say, "Yeah, go for it." So yeah, hopefully yesterday, whoever has my sledge really enjoyed the snow.
I'm sure they did.
And I'm sure they did.
They were thankful to you for that sledge.
Exactly. Yeah. So hopefully they write that in their thankfulness journal. And normally at this time of the year, we'd be on our way in the next couple of days to Nottingham.
Yes, we would.
National Leadership Conference.
Yeah, and normally a great time to get together as Vineyard, just from all over the country and Ireland, and just really celebrate and enjoy what God's doing. But this year, it's all gone online. It's the National Leaders Gathering, Vineyard Gathering online, so you can join in with that. There's no cost to that. You can get on, what's the website?
It is on vineyardgathering.com, but to watch along on Wednesday evening, Thursday morning and evening, and Friday, it's all on YouTube. So it's on the Vineyard's YouTube page.
Okay. So I think all the links are on that website. You can find it really easily, and it starts Wednesday night with Big Greg, and then sessions on Thursday and Friday. So everyone can buy in, which is great for this particular time. You know, there's a downside, we can't be together physically, but everyone can join in with the online content. I'm sure be really encouraged by that.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to it because I feel like I've got to a point now where I just need something like this to lift me and to almost get me refocused, reset. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
It's a good time of year to do that, isn't it?
I think, I would really encourage, if you're watching, if you join for some of these sessions, especially the evening ones especially, will be a bit more like a servicey type thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
and we'll feedback next week what our favourite sessions were.
Yeah, great idea. Cool. We'll do that.
Yeah.
So this Sunday, you continued our Dangerous Faith series.
Have people noted the Avengers theme that's sort of continuing through these series of talks?
See, now this can be interesting because only the coffee chat listeners will realise, now you've said this, will be aware of this.
Cat's out the bag, I do apologise.
Yeah, so...
For week one, you managed to get in...
Yeah,
how naff Avengers things.
I just slated it, didn't it?
We apologise to all the Avenger fans out there. You know, far too much fighting, Jake said, far too much fighting. Let's get on with it. Whereas this week, I nuanced the fact that Tony Stark could fly as Iron Man.
So you've got to look out for... In this coming week.
It's your job this week, mate, to shoehorn another Avengers reference in. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, yeah, I am too. I've got to see. So,
any suggestion? Just put them below in the. We'll see what we get them in.
You
can dress as Captain America.
I could dress as. I think that might be a bit distracting.
True.
True. So I don't know. I'll try and fit it in somewhere. I mean, I will fit it in. Okay. There'll be a link I can get somewhere.
I'm looking forward to that.
Watch out for that. That is something. Tell you what, if they weren't going to watch on Sunday,
this is to watch.
Yeah. So you talked about various things, but you told a really great story that was talked about in the video of a lady called Mabel. Do you want to just
Yeah, well, Mabel was an extraordinary lady who lived in China under the communist rule and was I think initially a doctor, very well respected in her community, but because she was labelled a distributor of Bibles, effectively she was under house arrest for 8 years with a sign outside her house saying no one could talk to her, no one could come near her, and she lived in isolation, victimisation for that incredible length of time. And I think her story, for anybody at the moment who's living in isolation, really hit home, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, and it was what I found so fascinating about that story is the thing that was stopping people from being able to come and talk to her, and things that was almost stopping her from spreading the gospel ended up being the thing that was used.
Ron had that great phrase, didn't he? It said her misery launched her ministry.
Oh yeah.
Which I thought, wow, God can take all that suffering and turn it into good. That redemption aspect of her story. I mean, she suffered extraordinarily over that time, but to be able to see how God used that to draw people to, I think for me, I try and say, God, you know, whatever we're going through, God is the great Redeemer. He can turn it for good. There's a redemption in it somewhere, I think. And so, she would be an amazing person to talk to, wouldn't she?
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and such an encouragement, even in our very relatively small amount of misery, but still feeling this. We're still in this moment where we feel like there's things that are stopping us from living life to the full, almost. But that phrase, the misery into ministry, is an amazing phrase. And she talked about the hiddenness part of God's character.
Yeah, she said she wanted God to appear, didn't she? She wanted God to physically appear and embrace that and comfort her. And we touched into on Sunday how God essentially is a hidden God. You know, and I talked about Proverbs 25, which has always fascinated me. This proverb that says, "It's the glory of God to conceal a matter, and the glory of kings to seek it out." It's kind of an odd phrase, but
what does that really
mean?
The
way I interpret that is, I don't think God's playing hide and seek with us. I think just now, as we currently are, God is mainly hidden from us. I don't know. I mean, I love science. I mean, we can talk about dimensions and what dimension God exists in and what dimension we exist in. But at the moment, God is mainly hidden from us. We talked about the Apostle Paul saying, it's as if we're looking at God through a very dim and obscure glass. We just get glimpses of him. And God is mainly hidden from us, but yet he's not absent from us. He's present with us. And even though we can't see him, Paul says one day we will see him face to face, which is an extraordinary thing to think about. God is not just because we can't see him. I've had so many people say to me, why doesn't God just turn up and show up? But actually God does turn up and show up. He just doesn't turn up and show up in a way that is visible. He turns and shows up in ways by his Spirit. And that's what Mabel's story testified to, didn't it? His presence was there to strengthen her and encourage her. So I don't think God's hiding from us. I think in the spiritual realm he's very visible to anybody. Yeah, you know, like the sun shining. But to us in the moment, we only get glimpses of him, but we do see him fully, as I said on Sunday, in the person of Jesus.
And it is interesting because I don't know about you, but I've had moments in my life where I've been so frustrated that God is a bit of a hidden God. And I've just been like, well, God, why can't you just almost reveal yourself to me in such a clear, obvious way so that I can then be launched out? And I've almost had moments where, especially when I'm struggling in my faith, where I'm just like, God, please show more of yourself. Almost come out of what may feel like hiding at times. So what would you say to people that might have that moment of, God, why won't you reveal yourself in a more obvious way?
I think that's where the second half of that statement comes in. It's the glory of God to conceal a matter, the glory of kings to seek it out. I think there is in the seeking the hidden God, there is something to be discovered and treasured for all of us. And so, you know, as we desire and hunger more and more for God, a revelation of God, as we seek him, as we sort of seek hard after him in his hiddenness, I think there's something there for all of us to be discovered. There's treasure. And so for Mabel, that treasure was later on seeing people come to Christ out of her difficult years, and that treasure was there. And I'm sure, and if God had said to her, look, Mabel, just hang on for the 7 years, You know, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Would that have made a difference? I don't really know, but I think, you know, there's a glory, and that word means majesty, splendour, treasure. There's something of God, if you like, God's character, to be discovered in the seeking, in the hungering, in the looking. And so perhaps God doesn't want to abort that process in our lives. Perhaps if he just appeared, it's what we say to our kids, you know, if you really want something, you know, you'll save up for it, or you'll work hard for it, or you'll do whatever you need to do to get there. I think if God sort of short-circuited that process in us, perhaps we'd miss out on something of the character God wants to build in us. It's a bit of a mystery, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and there are, you know, it's great that there are mysteries, really. Yeah. If we could fully understand why God does everything, then he wouldn't be God.
No, and we would, and that's not.
And we would, and we don't want that to happen.
We don't want that to happen.
And talk about this seeking. One thing that I was reflecting on is the persecuted church that are seeking God, but in their own hiding. So those that are having to hide, almost hide their faith, but in that hiding, they're seeking God and they're building relationship with God. What do you think we could learn from persecuted church that are having to almost be underground?
I went to a conference in Indonesia years ago, and we were in an auditorium, and behind us was seated a load of Chinese believers who essentially come out of persecution, and they prayed, and it's like sitting under a waterfall. It was such a powerful experience to sit a few rows ahead of such a passionate people. They were weeping for the UK at that time. They were praying for the UK. Wow. And I thought, I'm struggling to even have tears for my own country. Here's a completely different nation. And I think what it's shown was that something that was wrought in them by their journey was so powerful and so precious. That the mystery of having to sort of go into God, into that secret place, that hidden place, even risking persecution, even risking isolation like Mabel did, I think that produced something so authentic in them that I could experience it in that place of prayer. I never really felt anything like that before. The weight of their prayers was literally like water cascading over me, and I thought they have something that I haven't got, and probably because I hadn't been to the same refining process they've been through, that same persecution process, you know, that gold that had been refined in them by that, I hadn't yet experienced. And so they often say, the persecution said, don't pray for our persecution to end, you know, pray for God's kingdom to come. But actually that persecution is producing something of such great value that I think in the West sometimes we find that hard to understand. So I don't think we have to feel sorry for them in that sense, because they're great heroes of the faith, but we want to pray for God's will to be done in their situation, and also we want to pray for a little bit of something that they have to come into our lives.
I mean, in itself, that is such a faithful thing to say. Don't pray for our persecution to end, but God's kingdom to break through in our persecution. I mean, I'm finding it fascinating as we're going through this series to look at the persecuted church and to be encouraged by what they're doing and how God is moving in what seems from hundreds of miles away, a place that's almost seems from the outside godless.
But God's
actually God is so present in those places. So I'm really enjoying that, and on Sunday we'll be continuing this series, and on Wednesday to Friday we've got what's the conference called again?
Vineyard Leaders Gathering, is it? Or Vineyard National Gathering? I can't remember. It's the Vineyard and the Gathering.
The Vineyard Gathering.
Another word in the middle.
Great. Yeah. So we hope you enjoy the Vineyard Gathering this week. I found this week's coffee chat really interesting conversation.
It's been cool.
And we'll see you on Sunday, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.
See you later.